Welcome to Chicago, Illinois tonight, where the Chicago Warriors at 1-5 will take on the 4-3 Minnesota Legend, who are hoping to move up the Eastern Conference standings. Alongside Ron Haynes and Mark Mello in the stats truck, Charles Doherty, I am Cameron Irvine. Chicago may be 1-5, Charles, but they're coming off a win and 2 weeks to prepare for a team that they took down at the 2025 convention in Baltimore. How are you tonight?
Well, great. And I tell you what, Cam, they need to be prepared going up against this Minnesota defense. They are phenomenal. First in interceptions, first in points allowed on the road. I mean, first in turnovers. They are tough. I mean, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the Chicago defense either. We mentioned in the truck leading into this, we've got the Minnesota side, which is going to be relying on the ground. They've got, we're going to be talking a little bit about Colin Hart. And then the Air Warriors, man, they rely on the pass. Everybody knows it. They're going up against a really skilled Legend secondary, so I think they needed those 2 weeks.
Johnny Bravo mentioning the Minnesota defense. I mean, he's my pick for Defensive Player of the Year right now, Charles. 8 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. He's even top 10 in pass deflections with 7. He has just been literally spectacular.
Yeah, he's all over the place. I mean, he's got great closing speed. He's just got a great eye for the field, what's happening. It's almost he knows where the ball's going before it's even snapped.
We're underway here from the Windy City, and Minnesota is going to get the football first, and they're going to return that up to the 27-yard line. That's Quake Mam on the return. Johnny Reno is the quarterback for Minnesota, and this season with 9 passing touchdowns, that's 6th best in the league. In Minnesota, a rarity, Charles, being on the road tonight. This is just their 3rd road game of the season.
And they're okay. They do okay on the road. So, I'm excited to see how they get Hart engaged in the in the offense tonight. He's got a couple milestones coming up we'll probably be talking about. But, man, I've always been a big fan of Hart.
1st and 10 for Minnesota, and Johnny Reno, who will drop back the pass on the opening drive, and that pass is incomplete looking for E.J. Minson. Minnesota's starting offense includes Reno, Colin Hart, no Isaac Knox tonight, Jay Ballmer at fullback, receivers Quake Mam, Deezer Powell, Jay Taylor, E.J. Minson. Tight end is Chris Komisak, and on the line, watch out for Carly Forge, 53, Axel Raven, 74, Ruthie Raven, 69, and Griffin King, 77. A $5 super chat from Polly Truth. Warriors in the house trying to extend a winning streak here as Colin Hart will pick up 6 and set up a 3rd and 4.
Yeah, 3rd and 4. Yeah, this is the type of team in Minnesota that, I wouldn't be surprised if they ran it on this one. With Colin Hart in the backfield and the blocking up front, I mean, you can trust that offensive line.
5 down linemen, and Chicago brings some pressure. Reno going to try to get away, and Chicago gets the takedown. Derek Majors, who has just as many interceptions returned for touchdowns as Johnny Bravo, gets the sack.
2nd sack of the season, and I meant run blocking, not pass blocking, so I wasn't necessarily wrong in my statement.
And listen, Johnny Reno doesn't get sacked a whole lot. 13, he's about middle of the road in the league, considering that he throws the 14th most times in the league. That's about average and to be expected. Meanwhile, Ty Patak is the Chicago quarterback. He has passed the 9th most times, but Chicago hasn't played in a few weeks.
Yeah, and, I think they're trying to find themselves, with so many running backs in the stable this season, and not sure if they're quite there yet, but I think there's still some time in the season, but right now, going forward, they just need to be picture perfect.
Well, they got good field position on their opening drive at the 44-yard line as Patak will start with a pass. He's going to take off and run on a little draw. He's going to outrun the big man, at least for a moment. That was great hustle by Angela Meerkat, I do believe, bringing down Patak, but not after he gets a 1st down.
I mean, Patak, he's really good at reacting. He makes quick decisions, and when he runs, he's got a, 4.7-yard average when he's run. That's better than, a lot of the running backs in this league that are starting.
Patak alone in the backfield with, dotted by a halfback in the single back look. That's Patak with his first pass of the day, but it's a little bit off target. Looking for Bobby Tarantino. The Chicago offense features Ty Patak, Jesse Fretz, Logan Lee, Dean Jackson in the backfield. Caleb Giffis, John Fullerton, Bobby Tarantino. At receiver, Paulie Truth, Xavier Solomon at tight end. Watch for Jackie Jones, 71. Jess Fullerton, Galarza, 78. Boomer Bartolucci, 69, and Zach Wonders, 72, up front on the line. 2nd down and 10 for Chicago. Patak going to throw again, escaping to his left. Now takes off and runs and slides just shy of the 1st down. 8-yard gain. Patak now up to 18 yards on the ground.
Just a millisecond short of getting that 1st down. I think he could have just kept going and got an extra couple yards there, but I think he heard the feet of the lineman pursuing him.
Patak has all the offense so far for Chicago. 3rd down and 2, going to hand it off. That's Logan Lee. That's a 1st down to the 33-yard line. Just 20 carries in the first 6 games in a Chicago uniform. They're trying to get him more involved tonight.
And you have to. I mean, he's been one of the best backs in this league, and when they brought him in, a lot of people around the league were saying he's going to have some big numbers. He's been pretty quiet so far, but I think they're maybe hoping to change that going forward.
7:35 to go in the 1st quarter. That's Tarantino going in motion. 4-down lineman for Minnesota. They're bringing a lot of heat, and Patak fires and completes to Xavier Solomon, weapon X, with the 1st down near the 20-yard line.
That was a difficult pass to get off. I mean, you had a really small window for Patak. The pocket was starting to break down at the top of the screen there, and basically threw into double coverage. The linebacker and the safety, had bookend coverage there, and you needed an accurate pass from Patak, and he delivered.
Beautiful night for football here. 78 degrees, intermittent clouds, and a beautiful stadium to go along with it. That's a sack, and Ty Patak's going to be looking up at that sky after Jerry D. Gone gets the takedown.
It's a large specimen getting around that edge and just fell on top of poor Patak. Feel like sending him some flowers or something.
Speaking of Jerry D., the Gone family has been going through some things in the last few weeks, and we send our best wishes and thoughts and prayers to the Gone family, and hoping they're doing okay. And a great takedown by Jerry D. to start the ball game. 2nd and 15, a loss of 5 yards on the sack. This is Patak dropping a throw. Meerkat got immediate pressure, but again, Patak finds Xavier Solomon down the field for a 1st and goal around the 6-yard line.
Again, quick reaction by Patak. Like you said, Meerkat just blew up on the line, got right in, beeline for the quarterback. Talking about quick decisions by Patak, he showed it right there. Not only does he make a quick decision, but he delivers with a pinpoint throw.
And Xavier was ready for it. Derek Meerkat with a $5 super chat. You know what you have to do, Cam. Give us that Meerkat meow. Did that come through, Charles?
Yeah, no.
No, it didn't. That's a touchdown, Chicago. Take that, Meerkat, as John Fullerton gets the score. 6-0 Chicago early on in the ball game.
That was an explosive series there for Chicago. Great way to add some momentum onto that and some confidence on that offense. I mean, I don't think they're lacking for confidence, but when you have good runs from Lee, great passes down the middle of the field into tight coverage, you just finish it up with that crisp pass in the end zone, and I'm sure there's a lot of high fives on the sideline.
Fullerton's 2nd touchdown, and the bizarre thing about the Chicago receiving corps is they have 6 passing touchdowns this season, which seems incredibly low for a pass-first offense, but they've all gone to 6 different receivers, and Fullerton becomes the first Warrior receiver this season with multiple receiving touchdowns. That seems impossible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still focusing on the weak meow you gave. I think you've got some complaints in chat. Are refunds possible?
I mean, that's about as strong as I can go, right?
Sure.
I feel triggered by the Meerkat super chats every Monday night because I don't know how to make them happy. I try every week. I do my best. I'm never going to get it exactly right.
Not your best.
And then you're always going to complain at whatever I do, Charles. So
no, I laugh. The louder you go, the funnier it is, and the crowd loves it. That was like a meerkat that was run over on its last breath.
1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. Colin Hart hoping to run over Chicago defenders tonight. He's 2 touchdowns away from 200 all time.
Yeah, feed him the ball. Love it when he's throughout his whole career, he's been dangerous either on the ground or in the air. Just such a multifaceted weapon in that backfield.
Andy wants me to purr. That's for later. Doug Day says he'll give Cam a rhino call, and I bet you would, Doug, because I remember the first one.
There's some UFL updates going on behind the scenes. I don't know if you saw them.
Speaking of Dakota, wow, what a performance yesterday. That was.
We've got Spencer's no longer for hire.
Oh, okay. That 3rd down and 2. I got to catch up. 3rd and 2. Hart is going to be short of the first down. How about Kronk Worthy coming in to make the stop and force Minnesota into a punt. Great start for Chicago here.
Yeah, they need it. And that's a follow-up after that impressive offensive series. The defense got fired up too, showed it on the field, stopped the offense of Minnesota dead in their tracks.
So Chicago will start from their 32-yard line. On the second possession. Patak, 3 of 4 for 38 yards in that first drive. And I think, Charles, the most important thing for Patak was just his quick decision-making, leaving Minnesota just kind of befuddled in the secondary.
And a lot of that resulted in some pretty positive runs from him, keeping drives alive.
1st and 10 of the 32. Keith Wheeler asked for numbers. That's just how enthusiastic about the game me and Charles are. I got to get a number on that touchdown catch. That's caught at the Minnesota 45-yard line. Xavier Solomon with the first down.
Yeah, that was a nice throw on a rope as well, man. Patak is on fire. No time at all for that defense to get close to him. He made another, solid decision quickly and just threw it on like a missile down the field.
That was a 6-yard touchdown pass, so 6 and 7. I can't make that up, are your bingo numbers here early on in the game. Logan Lee is going to sidestep back inside and pick up 7.
That's why you feed him the ball. He does things like that. I mean, he's a monster. He's, hate to use the word legendary, but he was legendary running out of the backfield for Canton. I remember some of those off-tackle runs, those sweep plays he did. I'm surprised we're not seeing any of that this season.
2nd down, 3 yards to go. There's yesterday's bingo numbers.
A lot of bingo numbers.
There's it.
Score is 300-20.
I don't know. It's not saving. All right, we'll work on that. 6 and 7 are
another meerkat howl when you do that, Cam.
when my bingo numbers don't save correctly.
Yeah.
Oh man, every night's a different night. As that handoff goes to Logan Lee, picking up a first down.
Yeah, he's running powerfully tonight. He has a quick first step when he gets the handoff, and you have to have some quick reaction time by the defense. Otherwise, he's going to be tearing off 5 yards or more on you.
There we go, Charles. There's the updated number, the correct numbers. That pass is incomplete. Looking for Polly Truth over the middle. That knocked away by Johnny Bravo. The Minnesota defense features Jerry D. Gond up front, Angela Meerkat, Biff Markham, Mark Mello on the line. B.J. Lovelace, Stephen Black, Tigger Clay, Stephon Forge at linebacker. Chris Stash, Nicholas Frossel, Johnny Bravo, David Leathers, Lynn Shady, and Derek Meerkat in the secondary. 2nd down and 10 as Patak drops to throw. Tried to get away. I don't know how he got away from Meerkat. Inside the 20, slides down to the 16-yard line, wearing the invisibility cloak for the first down.
I think it was Meerkat and maybe Markham that were closing in and just managed to slip between the under the crack of the door to get by those two.
Charles, I think he spun underneath a block. I think he went in between his offensive lineman and one of the Minnesota that was an impressive, elusive maneuver from Ty Patak as Ty will drop to throw, dumps it off over the middle. That's Truth, first down to about the 6-yard line. 1st and goal. It's all Warriors in the first quarter.
Yep, the Legend are going to need to dig their heels in because right now they are they don't know what to do. They don't know which way the ball's going, and they're not reacting to it quick enough. They got to do something to disrupt the flow of this offense.
1:50 to go in the first quarter, and Chicago has an opportunity to go up 14-0. They won their first game a couple of weeks ago against Lexington by a single point, trying to take that momentum into this game. Type attack, avoids a sack, and it's incomplete. He almost threw a touchdown. Looking for Tarantino in the end zone.
Mike O'Neill's got to be throwing something at the wall. How many times he had it's not Mike O'Neill, excuse me. Forge has got to be throwing something at the wall. How many times they had a shot at the quarterback only to have him brush him off or, slide under their armpits.
That's a visual. Second down and goal.
Did that for Andy because he loves visuals.
1:34 to go in the first quarter. Patak again. Minnesota bringing a bunch of pressure. Couldn't find an open receiver, and Jerry D. Gond again with the sack, and that nets him some incentive money.
I like it that they're putting the heat on. I mean, they haven't been able to get to Patak, but it's only a matter of time.
Third down and goal coming up back at the 10.5-yard line. 11 officially for the bingo aficionados out there. 1:10 to go in the first quarter. Patak dropping a throw. Fires incomplete, and it's going to be 4th and goal. That felt like a major goal, not goal line stand, but red zone stand for Minnesota.
Yeah, that's what they needed to do. I mean, we challenged them, and they showed it. And great coverage in the end zone by the secondary for the Legend, and great aggressiveness on the front line of Minnesota as well. So they clamped down when they needed to.
Chris Stash with his 5th pass deflection of the season. Minnesota has 31 total coming into the night. The field goal from Brad Brechet is good. It is his first game in a Chicago uniform, taking over for the maligned Christian Ronald Suey of Chicago, who ultimately never started a game this season.
Yeah, that's fortunate they were able to bring in Brad and, walk around on the field Monday night.
No better time. And, Brad Brechet is, he's a legendary kicker in this league, one of the best to ever do it. And they pulled him out of retirement, said, hey, man, we need you. And we've seen that a number of times, Charles, in professional football where, they just bring these kickers out, and sometimes they can, they're right in the position to make a game-winning kick. Steal the show. 59 seconds to go in the first quarter. Colin Hart on a toss, getting a solid 7 yards. Really good blocking concepts there for the Legend.
Yeah, quick execution. The blockers got to their points quickly and was able to give a good lane there for Hart to execute.
So far, Johnny Reno does not have a completion. Hart has 4 carries for 19 yards. That is going to be a first down, and that is Bryson on the carry. We'll see Sean Bryson for sparingly tonight, 6'1", 228.
That's, Hart needs a breather after a couple pretty solid runs.
12 seconds left in the first. Back to Hart. Hart's got a lot of space. Hart is going to pick up 9 yards. Tackled by Alex Bond. And that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. But before we get there, Chicago's defense features Jad McPherson, Peter Merck, Storm Johnson, DeBrickashaw Molyneux on the line. Havo Ramsey, Andre Brown, Xavier Rowe III, Derek Majors, Melodious Manning, Crunkworthy, Alex Bond, Dylan Bamsler, and J.J. Bailey, all in the secondary. End of the first quarter, Chicago 10, Minnesota nothing. Here on the Monday Night Spectacular, alongside Charles Doherty, I'm Cameron Irvine, Ron Haynes, and Mark Mello in our stats truck. We start with a 1 yard to go here for Hart and the Legend. They're going to give him a first down there. And I think that's going to stand, Charles.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I believe that was a designed to be an outside zone run, but just made that adjustment inside, and I think that was the smart thing to do because he was not going to go anywhere if he tried to go out on that one.
Hand off again as Minnesota tries to slow this game down, and that is a 9-yard carry for Sean Bryson.
And I think the important part here is they're sustaining a drive, and they're allowing that defense for Minnesota to take a breather and, kind of recollect themselves so to get ready for the next onslaught of the high-powered Chicago passing game.
Man, I don't know what is going on with our bingo tonight, but it is killing me. Colin Hart's got a first down into Chicago territory. 6, 7, 10, and 27 are your current numbers.
That's a lot of meerkats you're going to have to do tonight so far.
for the errors on the...
I think the count's at 4 more.
It's unbelievable. 2-yard pickup there. Bamsler on the tackle. Let's try that again.
Go ahead, sorry.
I'm talking to my system. Let's try that again. It's just
Okay.
it's having issues tonight. 8:20 to go in the first half. Chicago's up 10-0 on Minnesota. Johnny Reno drops to throw as Reno fires. That is complete. First down to the 28-yard line. And finally, Johnny Reno has a completed pass. E.J. Minson with the catch in the first down.
That's all about ball placement and body position. I mean, turned his body around only where he could get it, and Worthy didn't have a shot.
8 minutes to go in the first half as Minnesota trails 10-0, but this is clearly their best drive of the night thus far. 36 yards for Colin Hart on 7 carries early going. This time, that's DeBrickashaw Molyneux making the tackle for a 2-yard loss. And for the first time in this game, actually second time in this game, Minnesota has a negative play.
Yeah, that was a big play. Just filled that gap up, shut it down. That's what they needed.
4 receivers, 2 to either side. That handoff goes to Hart, and that'll get the yards that they lost. Bamsler on the tackle, and this is a big moment for Reno on a 3rd down and 10. I think that they are just inside field goal range right now.
Yeah, and haven't only 1 completion. Let's see if he can make it 2. This is a big play for them.
Minson is the only player that's been targeted here in the first half. A dump off, a check down. Powell's got to break a tackle, and that was a stellar job, Charles, by Andre Brown. He forces Powell out of bounds, and Minnesota will have to settle.
Yeah, the rookie going up against the 17-season veteran, and just in the big lights, that's what I love about this game. Rookie can step on the field and make an impact against a pretty solid veteran.
A 41-yard field goal attempt. Josh Gint swings the leg. That kick is good. And I'm telling you, Charles, that just squeezed through the right upright.
I thought that was going to be a miss. I mean, that was, I don't know if we got any wind, in play here, but no, that was pretty straight.
Yeah, not too bad. I actually thought that it was a little closer than it was, but 10-3 now is the score, and at least Minnesota gets the goose egg off the board.
Yeah, they needed that, and the out comes the defense refreshed and ready to put their track shoes on.
All right, can we execute officially here finally? No, we cannot. 41-3. Update to that list.
You're going to have to do a whole pack of meerkats tonight.
I'm trying not to burn them all at once. Hopefully they make some great plays and we can do it that way. Type attack drops to throw up 10-3. Deep shot down the field. That is incomplete, and that'll set up a 2nd down and 10. Chris Stash having a nice night here in the first half.
Yeah, the good coverage downfield, and you're on an island, and Stash right there just did everything that the defensive coordinator expected him to do. So good job there, Stash.
6:32 to go in the first half. Attack is 5 of 10 for 71 yards. He's hit 3 different receivers. He also has 5 carries for 26 yards. Minnesota again bringing the pressure. Patak drops to throw and throws an interception. Chris Stash again. Stash has been all over the place tonight, and Minnesota's got the football at the Chicago 26-yard line.
3rd interception for Stash, and like you said, he's all over the field. 14th interception for Patak. I mean, it looks like the defense needed that rest. They came out and they were picture perfect on that series.
It looked like, Charles, that Paulie Truth was running kind of a double move to the outside, but that pressure that Minnesota is supplying tonight, I think, forced an early throw, and Truth was not ready for it. I formation, handoff to Colin Hart, picking up a solid 4 yards. It's well documented that Chicago does not have the best run defense in the league, Charles, and Minnesota, I think, trying to take advantage of that tonight.
I mean, it's very smart. I mean, and you know, it would be a sin if you didn't make use of Hart. I don't care if you're playing the best running defense in the league. You gotta give that man touches.
10 carries in the first half, and the handoff goes to Bryson. He's only going to get a yard. That tackle made by Alex Bond, who's also been active. That'll set up a 3rd down and 5.
I wouldn't hate a draw play here. I know they're probably not going to do it, but I mean, haven't shown a lot on the pass game. I know it's early, but the Colin Hart's been just on fire.
Johnny Reno got it. 1st down to the 15-yard line outside the numbers. E.J. Minson with the catch. Huge conversion.
Minson's having I wouldn't, maybe quiet's maybe too strong, but he's getting a lot of targets and touches, and he's been, when he's been called on, he's been executing.
Minson this season, just 18 receptions, 228 yards. He has not scored a touchdown. See the updated team stats there as Minnesota starts to catch up to Chicago. Deezer Powell has been their leading target with 34, as Colin Hart is going to be dropped for a loss. Chicago not doing too shabby against Hart right now. He's averaging less than 4 yards a carry. That's J.J. Bailey on the tackle.
It's definitely gone down in the last series and a half, but they got to execute here, Minnesota, to narrow that gap.
Reno escaping to his right, throws, caught, and that is 2 yards shy of a score. Deezer Powell wrapped up by Rowe the third, but not before Powell gets the reception.
All right, Reno's starting to come to life in the passing game. He's at 80%, 4 for 5 now, and knocking at the door of tying this ball game up.
Powell coming in was 10th in the league in receptions with 1,111, which is just crazy. 9th in total yards, 4th in total touchdowns. Hand off to Hart. He's not going to get in. Ripped up and thrown backwards by Jad McPherson, the former Renegade, 2nd and goal.
Yeah, they clogged up that middle, but I just keep at it. keep running it down their throat until they can consistently stop them.
2nd and goal, under 4 to play in the first half. 10-3 Chicago. Reno hands it off. Bryson not going to get in as Chicago looks for a goal line stop. 3rd down at the 2.
Big time call here. What would you, Cam? Would you pass it or put your confidence on that offensive line?
I'd swing it out to Hart. See if I can get him into some open space.
Okay.
3rd and goal at the 3. Nope, they're going to hand it straight off to him, and he's going to be stopped at the 1-yard line. That's incentive money for Melodious Manning. It's 4th and goal at the 1, and Minnesota gets the stop and keeps their lead.
Big stand by Chicago. I mean, they've been hit in the face a couple times in that running game, and really did what they needed to do to stop the bleeding here, and only put 3 up.
18-yard field goal is good, and it's 10-6 with 3:02 to go in the first half. And coming into this game, Charles, we saw it as a contrast of styles. I feel like both teams have played their styles effectively tonight, and we've got a close, good game.
Yeah, that's what we need to have on the Monday Night Spectacular. I mean, the records don't necessarily, jump out at you, but man, both of these teams are stacked with talent, and the coaches are starting to get their groove here mid-season. So I think this is going to be a pretty darn good game.
All right, Charles, updated bingo numbers are on the screen.
Tonight's numbers are 6, 7, 10, 27, 41, 3, and 18.
Since we started doing this, Charles, have you started doing bingo in your local town?
I just randomly say numbers. It drives my wife crazy.
First down, Pauly Truth picking up a random number there. I think it was 14 for the first down.
That's I didn't know you threw that zinger at me, so I completely great catch, Truth. That's my analyst.
Can you please actually start doing that? I just know what Lisa would respond with. She'd say,
"You have a guest room. You don't have a guest room, so no."
Type attack, dropping a throw. It's caught. Bobby Tarantino spinning away from Minnesota defenders to the Minnesota 25-yard line. First down.
Tarantino shows why he's got a 20-yard average per reception. When he catches the ball, it's deep downfield, and he executes. So good on you. Great route run and good look there by Patak.
That was his first catch in 4 targets. Back into Minnesota scoring position. Will they get another play off before the 2-minute warning? They will. That's Patak into the flats, and it's picked off. Intercepted, and guess who it is? Johnny Bravo with interception number 9.
I mean, he was lurking back in that secondary all night, just waiting to make his move, and he saw on that one, jumped the pass, and brought in the ball. That was a huge play. They got a chance at taking the lead here on this drive.
2 minutes to go. Chicago leads 10-6, but Minnesota gets their second turnover of the first half. Alongside Charles Doherty, I'm Cameron Irvine, Ron Haynes, Mark Mello in our stats truck. Minnesota is number 1 in the league in interceptions, and they certainly have looked the part here tonight. Handoff, Colin Hart, not much room there. No gain, tackle made by J.J. Bailey.
They're going to have to dial up some passes here, and I think especially now, I mean, when you got the second, or actually the third halfback on the depth charts in there, now's a good time to roll out the pass.
By the way, Johnny Bravo has tied Michaela Foraker and Evan Carroll for most interceptions in a season in the 4K23 era. So one more for Bravo this season will be a record that has not been broken in 3 years, as the handoff goes to Bryson. If you're wondering what the all-time SFL record is for interceptions in a season, it's 15.
Who did that?
That was Troy Loshaw from Dallas in season 8 and Giovanni Bolt from Baltimore in season 17.
Man, Bolt.
Rollout for Reno on a play action. That pass is caught at the 47-yard line, and Minnesota will call a timeout.
Nice play. Yep, we're seeing that passing game for Minnesota starting to heat up a little bit, and now at this point when they're down by 4 in the first half with a couple, less than a minute, I didn't see the time there, but perfect time to get that passing game firing.
Both of Patak's interceptions have come when targeting Paulie Truth. Truth is 2 of 5. Tarantino's 1 of 4, and then everyone else is pretty spotless tonight in the target share. That's Minson on the catch and run all the way to the sideline to the 23-yard line. He's been a mismatch nightmare tonight for Chicago.
Yeah, EJ Minson. He's what's amazes me, he hasn't had a touchdown yet this season. So the way he's playing tonight, I think he might get his first of the season.
Johnny Reno up to 6 of 7 for 84 yards tonight. Still looking for that first touchdown, a QBR of 116. Again, pressure is brought, and that one a little bit low for Mam, the second incompletion for Reno tonight.
I'm seeing a lot of routes where I wouldn't call it maybe necessarily a comeback route, but where the wide receiver kind of turns around and takes a little bit of momentum going back to the quarterback. I've seen that on the top of the screen about 3 or 4 times, and now we've seen it on the bottom.
Xavier Rowe, if you would like me to explain how ratings work in the game, I would be more than happy to do so anytime in a DM, because I just hate that you're so perplexed every single week. Reno back to pass. Minson breaks a tackle inside the 5 down to the 3-yard line. First and goal legend.
I mean, he's a wide receiver. I mean, it says that on the roster sheet, but man, he's built like a fullback or a tight end. I mean, it's like trying to tackle a tank. I mean, running down the field. I mean, if we would have just stayed in bounds, we would have been looking at 6.
Minson having a night. 5 catches for 87 yards here in the first half. Minson so far this season with the 228 over the course of 7 games. My math's a little spotty, but that's only about 30 yards a game. First down and goal as Reno drops to pass, and he's hit from behind. Chad McPherson with another takedown, and Minnesota will burn their second timeout. It's worth noting, Charles, they've been doing a really good job getting out of bounds on this drive.
Yeah, I know. I think they have enough time for another play or two, but that sack there was huge by McPherson.
Three receivers, two to the left, dropping back to pass. Reno, touchdown, Minnesota. They take the lead. That's Jay Taylor into the end zone for touchdown number 4 on the season.
Haven't heard his name called a lot, but man, when he's targeted, that's what you need to do, son. Catch it in the end zone. Get your 4th touchdown of the season and potentially take the lead.
Minnesota.
Take the lead. Sorry, my math is bad. I'm just trying to make you feel better.
Well, now you owe him one meerkat meow.
No, I'm not on the meerkat.
You're not a part of this?
You told me to never make that noise again.
Is that what I said? I take it back.
My end of season broadcaster review.
I definitely want you to make the noise again, Charles.
We've got a whole halftime where you're going to have to do 12 meerkat sounds. Just to make it right.
That's the bonus. We got to start a Patreon, Charles, and I'll just do meerkat sounds for 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
For anybody that's interested.
You will? I guess you'd be surprised.
Charles, you hear how excited everybody Charles is for this potential bonus cast.
Cam, well, the league folded when Cam started making all the money on his meerkat site.
The meerkat site, that's hilarious. 27 seconds to go in the first half. Back on track. Chicago's down 3. 13-10 Minnesota as Ty Patak will drop to throw. That is incomplete. And look at Bravo is on truth like a glove tonight.
Yep. And also the defensive line. I think that was the defensive end at the top of the screen, just beeline towards Patak. I'm surprised he threw a pass as accurate as that. The pressure he was facing.
That was an 8-yard score on the touchdown as Patak will drop to throw. Nope, he's going to take off and run. He's got near a first down. They're going to mark him 3rd and inches. We got 14 seconds left. I don't think they're going to do anything with this at the end of the half. We got updated bingo numbers, Charles.
Tonight's numbers are 6, 7, and 10, 27, 41, 3, 18, 8, and 13.
I did that just for you, Charles, just to upset you.
Yeah, you probably owe me.
And off as we close out the half. $5 super chat from one of the Meerkats. I can't see on the screen. Let's have a commentator versus commentator Meerkat Meow contest. Charles, you got to give the people what they want. You go ahead. You start.
No, you still owe them about 4 at least. So
yeah, but you made that rule up. That's not a super chat rule. That's just a you rule.
That's just a kind rule. That's just the right thing to do. Okay.
Are you gonna serve Derek's super chat with me or not?
No, go ahead.
So you're not gonna do it with me?
Okay, let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
No, see, you weren't gonna do it.
That sounded like my.
I'll do it for you. Hey, I have less shame than Charles
Meerkat. Sunday
Meerkat.
football game on the couch.
Don't let anyone forget it. Minnesota's up 13-10 on Chicago. What'd you think of the first half, Charles?
Wow. I'm sorry. It was amazing. I mean, what a game. 13-10. Chicago came out firing on all cylinders, passing, quarterback runs. Kind of smacked the legend in the face, but they were able to settle down and take the lead here late in the first half. And I think Chicago's going to need to make some adjustments, obviously, on the offensive side. I don't think they can rely as heavily on that on the runs by the quarterback. I mean, we saw a lot of Logan Lee, coming back out there on the field and getting some very quality runs. Hope to see more of that here. There's time there. You can't give up on Lee at this point in the game.
Dondas Telecarne with a very nice thing to say. Best booth in the biz. We appreciate you, and we appreciate interacting with you all in the chat on Monday Night Spectaculars. 84 with us in the chat tonight, Charles, and we made the right decision keeping this game in prime time. In Minnesota, Chicago, they've played each other 5 consecutive seasons. It was a great time at the convention last summer in Baltimore, and these two always play each other tough.
Yeah, definitely. I regret missing the convention last season, but I'll be there this year, so I'm looking forward to it.
It was one of those, and Colin Hart hopefully will be there this year as well, getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. That's always fun when people get to say a few words in person and we get a chance to get to know him a little better, give him the spotlight as Patak drops back deep, and he's picked again. That is up to the 38-yard line of Chicago. Nicholas Frossel, that is interception number 23 on the season for Minnesota.
Ever since the defense for the Legend had that time on the sidelines to settle down and figure out what kind of changes they needed to do, we're looking at a totally different defense from the kickoff. I mean, they are out there all over the place, getting pressure on, making turnovers. This is what they need, and right now we're looking at a potential another 7 on the board, and Chicago being a big hole.
10 seconds into the second half, Minnesota up 13-10 on Chicago as Reno drops to throw. Minnesota getting the momentum now as Jay Taylor's got a first down to the 20-yard line.
Jay Taylor's just building off that last series, that great route in the end zone. Another big play from him, and they're not already in the red zone. They are definitely knocking on the door.
Charles, if a DB has 95 coverage and a receiver has 95 catch, what do you think's going to happen? You think it's a 50-50 shot? Someone makes a play? I'm just asking for a friend.
I'm amazed, Cam, at the stuff you see in chat. You're doing a game. I mean, you've got like a nose for it. And
I try to do a little bit of everything, give the people what they want. As the handoff goes to Colin Hart, and he drags defenders, picking up 8 yards. That's Hart's second best run of the night. Chicago has done a nice job on him so far, but that was a tough run.
That was a tough run, but that's what we expect out of Hart. And now this is Heartland. How do you like that one?
That was good. That was good, Charles. Much better than your meerkat bit from the first half. Handoff to Bryson. That's a loss. An excellent hit in the backfield. That's Cronk-worthy.
I mean, it's hard to game plan around alternating run and passes with the stamina. I think if we had Knox out there, I mean, we could have been looking at an even more powerful running attack there by Minnesota, which would have been pretty scary.
8:20 to go in the third. Can Chicago get a half stop? Hart off the left side. He had a lot of space. Makes the touchdown saving tackle. Looking at this Chicago defense, Charles, they had 8 All-Stars last season on this squad. I mean, they really are an underrated unit.
The defense needs to play at all-star level to keep this hot Minnesota offense out of the end zone.
Totally agree. First and goal at the 2-yard line. The handoff. That's Bryson. Touchdown, Minnesota. And Minnesota has now scored 19 unanswered points. They take a 19-10 lead.
That's huge. I mean, they've grabbed onto the momentum, and it's just holding on, and it doesn't look like they want to let go. Chicago's got to figure out something. Right now the offense has got to come out, and I think they need to go, I hate to say it, they're going to have to go a little bit more balanced and rely on Logan. He's been very effective. I mean, heck, you're putting a lot on your quarterback to run and pass like that, especially when you got a Minnesota defense that's really starting to find their zone.
20-10 now on a 2-yard touchdown run, and that gives us some updated bingo numbers, Charles.
Tonight's numbers are 6, 7, 10, 27, 41, 3, 18, 8, 13, 2, and 20.
A little mix of everything. We haven't had many explosive plays here tonight. That's a broken tackle. That could be an explosive play up the sideline to the 35-yard line. Chicago's going to have good field position. Caleb Giffis back in the lineup for the Warriors tonight, getting him good field position.
Definitely, and they needed that. It starts off with, special teams setting them up for success. And they executed on that play. Good blocking, getting out to the outside, getting almost to the 40-yard line, and that's a dream for the offense for Patak to come out and start.
Patak in the first half, 7 of 16, but explosive for 126 yards, almost 20 yards per catch as Patak drops to throw, deep shot again, but it's well defended. Minnesota has made some adjustments, Charles. They're taking out the underneath routes, forcing Patak to throw deep, and it has not been effective.
Yeah, and it looks like they've got coverage, obviously, on the receiver, but it looks like they've got support as well. So, an errant pass by Patak, and he's going to pay for it.
Logan Lee, 4 carries for 21 yards. in that first half of play. Tarantino goes in motion. 2nd down and 10, Chicago. Attack again, facing a 6-man rush. This time he's able to complete it, but the receiver is down. John Fullerton, who had the touchdown earlier tonight, is shaken up on the field. He's hurting, pounding that grass.
And hopefully he just got the wind knocked out of him, but man, he crumbled as soon as he got hit. I'm glad he held on to the ball.
3rd and 2 because he did hold on, so that'll set up Logan Lee with a potential run up the middle here. This is 7 in the box for Minnesota. Truth's going to go in motion. It's not that he's had a bad night, it's just Johnny Bravo's been all over him throughout the night. But Tack's going to throw more pressure, and he's sacked. Angela Meerkat with the takedown in the backfield. There you go. You got Charles to do it. Great sack, Angela.
Oh, you deserve that. She deserved that, man. That was awesome.
He stood no chance. Didn't even see her on the blind side. 4th down.
Wow. That's her. She's knocking at the door of 2 sacks. She's at 1.5 this season. Maybe she'll get another one tonight.
Kick is away. Chicago's still in this game. They just need something. They're not getting it here on this kick return. Quake Mam all the way to the 39-yard line, and that will set up Minnesota in excellent field position. Charles, they are number 1 in the league in average field position, averaging an average start field position of the 34-yard line, which is due to a lot of interceptions they've gotten off of defenders and punt returns like that.
Yeah, I mean, the run game for Minnesota's seemed to level off a little bit so far at this part of the game, but man, Reno is really starting to come alive. Gives them another weapon.
7:01 to go in the 3rd quarter. Minson's off the line there at that tight end 2 spot, and that is Colin Hart getting 4 yards before getting thrown back. 2nd and 6.
One thing we haven't seen is the rare sighting of the swing pass or screen pass tonight. See if somebody slips one in.
2nd and 6. Reno 9 of 11 for $130. It's Hart again. Hart will get 2 more, and that sets you up for 3rd and 4. You can do anything there, even a swing, Charles.
I don't even think I've seen a draw play. Have we seen a draw play tonight either?
Nope.
Okay. It should be on the bingo card.
Little draw action. Chicago 6.5-point dogs tonight, 44.5. We're looking for that draw. Got that draw on the bingo card. Minson goes in motion from right to left. It's Reno dropping a throw. He is facing pressure off his back foot. It's caught at the 33-yard line. Jay Taylor, a masterful throw from Johnny Reno.
My gosh, that is masterful. I thought I smelled doom there in the backfield, and it was nice adjustment. Just that one step out of the pocket gave him enough time. Even as off balance as he was able to throw it so accurately down the field.
5:40 to go in the 3rd. That was maybe the best throw of Reno's season. 5.5 and ticking. Minnesota has all the momentum at the moment. Colin Hart, though, is going to be stuffed. Once again, great run defense from Dylan Bamsler and the rest of the Warriors.
I mean, they're going to be held to task again here. That Chicago defense got to do something to turn this around. Right now, they're looking up at the bottom end of a 10-point deficit.
Reno again in tight coverage. Deezer Powell boxes out a defender to set up a 3rd down and 3.
I thought that was an interception. I really did.
Powell's up to 3 for 24. Taylor's got 3 for 50. Minson 5 for 85. Good balance tonight for Reno. 3rd and short. Reno going to throw. Reno fires down the middle. Incomplete. That was out of the backfield. Chris Komisak at tight end. They tried to slip him out on his first target. Chicago was there. I think that was row the 3rd. It's 4th and 3.
And I believe that was the first target for Komisak. I mean, that's another very solid player that's been pretty quiet tonight.
43-yard field goal attempt for Josh Gint to give us 43 and 23 if he curves it through, and he does. And Minnesota's lead is extended to 13.
the defense for Chicago stopped the bleeding a little bit, only putting 3 up against, by Minnesota. So even more pressure now for Chicago. I mean, this deficit is starting to get bigger and bigger, just that slow drip.
And to give up 23 unanswered points, Charles, but to still only be down by 2 scores with plenty of time left in this game, is not the end of the world for Chicago. And we know they have an explosive offense. That return is up to the 28-yard line, and we've got updated bingo numbers.
Tonight's numbers are 6, 7, 10, 27, 41, 3, 18, 8, 13, 2, 20, 43, and 23.
And because of the injury, I think to Fullerton, that shuffled some receivers. Tyson Calico on that kick return. That is Patak with a completion to Solomon, who's been quiet in the third quarter, but had a great first half. That's a gain of 7.
Yeah, Chicago needs a long, sustained drive here. The defense of Chicago needs a little bit of rest there on the sideline.
2nd down and 3. Handoff. Nice. He gets a first down to the 43-yard line. Logan Lee. Miranda in the chat saying that she's got bingo. What's your card? I'm just curious. I want to check to see if that's true. That's an excellent vertical bingo on just 13 called numbers. Type attack, dropping a throw. That's caught. Xavier Solomon to the 40 for the first down. Andy Hamilton says need 50+ as a bonus. Otherwise, Charles owes 3 meows. I would never do that to you, Charles. So we're going to do 50 and over 50 as a pair of bingo numbers, bonus numbers tonight, Charles.
Look at you. Santa Cam.
$2 super chat for Mark Lopez. Cam, I think the bingo cards are broken again. No, they're not broken. I'm sorry. Just yours. Just yours, Mark. That's going to prompt everyone in the chat to say, no, mine's broken too. Type attack. Dropping a throw. He is taken down at the 44-yard line. Jerry D. Gond with another sack. That's, I think, his 3rd tonight.
And it's 5 all season for him. Man, great pressure by that defensive line for Minnesota. And that type of play really starts to wear on the offensive line. I mean, they need to kind of settle in there and stop the onslaught.
Second down and 15. Oh, Miranda, you got it. Wow, that's a great card. And congrats to you right now. I believe you're the lone winner. And that pass is intercepted off a deflection. It's Bravo, his 10th of the season. That's a 4K23 record. And he's now 5 away from tying the SFL all-time mark.
Let's watch this replay. It was tipped originally by Meerkat. But, man, what great heads-up play there by Bravo. Again, just lurking back in that secondary, waiting to, draw blood.
1st and 10 at the 23-yard line. That is the 4th interception for Patak. And looking at the drive summary for Chicago, that is 4 interceptions in the last 5 drives for Chicago after they scored the first 10 points on the first 2 drives, Charles. So they've had no punts. Well, they've had 1 punt tonight, but essentially it's either points or picks right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're up by 13, here near the end of the 3rd. If I was Minnesota, I would just ram it down their throat and get that defense that's already tired even more so. Because right now I think they're starting to lose a little bit of their air.
Bravo hits Jay Ballmer with a short gain. And I don't want to set a precedent now that people just start paying for bingo wins here. But Andy did it so eloquently, threatened Charles at the same time. I felt like, well, that was very creative. I'll have to give him something, but not give him everything. Give him another bonus number out there just nice. In case. That's Taylor getting the ball, swatted away. Havo Ramsey rips it from his hands, and Chicago gets a much-needed stop.
I tell you what, the chat is on fire tonight.
It is on fire. We love it.
Out of control. There must be a full moon or something.
We want it to stay on fire for the for UFL primetime coming up at the conclusion of this game. Michael Turillo and Tyler Falk are on the call. The Austin Lone Stars hung 66, a UFL record in week number 1 last week on Chicago, and Los Angeles is also coming off a win. Battle of undefeateds in the West. Jesse Fritz's Lone Star team is going to hit the field tonight, and can't wait for that one coming up after the end of Chicago, Minnesota.
I was checking the stats, and you said Lone Star, and you got my attention. Sorry.
No, not that Lone Star, Charles. The Austin Lone Stars. 1st and 10 of the 42 for Chicago. Updated look at the numbers. I mean, listen, Chicago's moving the football. They're basically even with Minnesota, but the turnovers are killing them. Type attack on a draw up the middle, getting a first down into Minnesota territory.
He's so elusive, but man, he drops down to the ground at the very last second. I mean, they look at the defenders. They are locked in and ready to drop some pain on him, and just at the very last second.
1:10 to go in the third quarter, and thank you, Angela. Don't forget to hit that like button. Of course, every like has gotten us to our pot tonight, which was nearly $400,000. We appreciate all your support of the Virtual Football Network, which is on its way to 9,000 subscribers. We love that as Type Attack looks down the field. It's caught, one-handed catch. Bobby Tarantino saves what could have potentially been another interception.
Huge catch by Tarantino in the traffic, and good blocking by that offensive line. I've kind of been ragging on them a little bit in the second half, but man, they did their job on that one and kept the quarterback clean, and now they're knocking at the door here, putting some points up, hopefully.
Frossel was in tight coverage. One of the best stats of the day, I think, so far, Charles, is that Jerry DeGond is second on the team in tackles for Minnesota. That's really difficult to do as a defensive lineman. They almost got to Patek again, and he threw another one. Intercepted by Stephen Black. Pick number 5 on the last 6 drives for the Warriors.
And third of the season there for Black, but started off with pressure up the middle, looked like by the defensive tackle, right in the face of attack, through a ill-advised pass, and man, Black just capitalized on it.
And poor Paulie Truth got a Cameron Duty obliterated at the end of that play. Man, we need Cameron. What's going on with Cameron Duty? We got to check on him. It's been a minute since we've heard him on a call. The great Cameron Duty. 18 seconds to go in the third quarter. 23-10. Toss play out to Hart. Hart breaks off a tackle. There goes Colin Hart. Oh, Hart into Chicago territory down to the 36-yard line. First down, Minnesota, blowing away his previous long of 9 tonight.
It's a great way to open up a series, man. Big run to the outside there by Hart, man. That offensive line has got to be pumped. Great execution, set the edge perfectly, and Hart just took it from there and just drove all the way down into the heartland.
That is the end of the third quarter of play, and Minnesota is trying to get to 5-3 as they start this daunting road trek at the end of the season. You're watching the Monday Night Spectacular of the SFL here on the Virtual Football Network alongside Mark Mello and Ron Haynes in the Stats Truck. Charles Doherty, I'm Cameron Irvine. Minnesota is starting or ending their season with 4 of their last 5 on the road, but all 4 teams, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Arizona, and Lexington, currently with a losing record. They also will host Houston in Week 12. They only went 2-3 in their 5-game homestand, which is why they sit at 4-3 right now. That is a 2-yard pickup to start the quarter. Tackle made by Dylan Bamsler.
Minnesota's built for this type of game, up by 13 in the fourth quarter. They've got the right horses to just, drag it out, eat the clock up, and walk away with a very tired Chicago defense.
Reno's pass is caught down to the 21-yard line. Jay Taylor with the reception, and the balance for Minnesota's passing attack continues.
And Jay Taylor's having a pretty darn good game tonight. He'd been targeted 5 times, caught 4 of them, and he's 16 yards per reception. You can't beat that, plus that key touchdown in the first half.
Mike O'Neill mentions his schedule was stupid, and he's right, Charles. Chicago has played the toughest schedule so far this season, and it's not going to get much better. They've still got D.C. and Washington on the schedule as the handoff goes to Hart He gets no gain, and that's a lot of that, Charles, is due to Detroit having so much success this season, Florida having more success this season, teams that weren't necessarily threats in season 25. 2nd and 10. Reno dropping a throw. He's going to take off and run. Reno's got space. Reno inside the 5, lowers his shoulder. Dylan Bamsler saves the touchdown. I didn't know Reno had that in him, Charles.
He just lowered his helmet like a fullback guy. That's kind of dangerous, man. You got to slide, man, my man. you can end your night if you don't do that right.
And there was nobody over there, and Reno is approaching Ty Patek's rushing yard total on the night. 1st and goal at the 3. Heavy set, Hart down to the 2, picking up 1. They gotta hold him to 3 here, Charles, or I think they're gonna run out of time.
Oh yeah, and they're just, I mean, this is almost a nightmare scenario to be in if you're the defensive side for Chicago.
Chicago hanging in there. They need a stop. 7:50 to go in the 4th quarter. Handoff and walking in touchdown. That's Bryson. Coming in for Isaac Knox in Minnesota is up 29-10.
I tell you, you're living right in your running game when your third string halfback has got 2 touchdowns.
It's been that kind of night for the legend, as Josh Gint will try to make it 30 with his extra point.
All started by that great run by Hart.
That kick is good. 30 unanswered for Minnesota. 7:45 to go in the 4th quarter, and 45 is your 3rd bonus number tonight. Well, we get 30 off the board. Charles, what's our official numbers update?
Tonight's numbers are 6, 7, 10, 27, 41, 3, 18, 8, 13, 2, 20, 43, 23, and 30.
Not too shabby of a start here tonight. Your cards won't reset. The numbers will reset going into the Monday night primetime matchup in the UFL coming up. As Patak drops to throw, he's going to dump it off short in the flat, and Pauly Truth makes something out of nothing. Meerkat chases him down after a pickup of 3 yards. Patak up to 12 of 24 for 5 picks. It's that pressure, and I think teams are picking up on that, Charles. I mean, they're bringing the heat on Chicago a lot. Yeah,
and Chicago, the offense, I think, it goes without saying, they're running out of possessions here. Got to score on this one, or we're going to be looking at near impossible.
And teams don't have to respect the run game, Charles. It's just, I mean, why wouldn't you? If you have a great secondary, right? Why not just play one-on-one back there?
I mean, I understand your logic in that.
30-10, Chicago trying to make something happen down the field. They certainly do, to the 42-yard line. Tarantino has been clutch deep.
Yeah, Tarantino, I mean, he's finding those gaps in the coverage. I mean, it's only a matter of time, to your point earlier, they sit back in the deep zone coverage. It's only a matter of time before these seasoned wide receivers and attack are going to find holes to make the pay for it.
Patak dropping a throw. And again, he's got a receiver open. That's Xavier Solomon for the first down. This is one of the best games that I've seen Solomon play in quite some time. He's almost to 100.
He's catching everything thrown his way, and I thought I saw one of the defenders go airborne and just launch themselves at Patak. Patak, just cool as a cucumber, was able to throw that dot.
That's Meerkat again with the tackle. Meerkat up to a few, coming alive here in the 4th quarter. But by the way, Solomon, I say that he's having one of his best games in a while. He had a $150 and a touchdown in his last game, as that was knocked away by David Leathers. So he's strung together a couple of really good games. And Pauly Truth is down for Chicago, so that's their second weapon that they've lost here tonight. And Truth, I don't even put it on Paulie. He's been harassed all night long by this Legend defense.
Yeah, and targeted 10 times, 4 receptions. Great defensive scheme to kind of minimize his impact in the game so far.
5:50 to go, 30-10 Minnesota. Attack dropping a pass, and he steps back, finds Xavier Solomon. That's been working all night, and it'll be enough for a first down for the Warriors. Under 6 to go. They gotta hurry, Charles.
They have to hurry, and they're almost there. Just more great routes run by the likes of Solomon and heads-up passing by Patak.
He's in the backfield, 5.5 to go in the fourth quarter. That over-under at 44.5 is right on the money from Jack's data, as usual. SFL Porsche with a nice comment in the chat. Broken tackle, picking up 9. She says, Charles, this game is freaking fantastic, y'all. Between chat and commentators, love it. We want this every game league-wide, Charles, right?
Yep, definitely. And another great pass, and that was Solomon right down the middle. Holy smokes. They're doing what they need to do. I mean, we kind of challenged them. They said they needed to score on this series, and so far, man, they're hitting on all cylinders.
We want to make every game a party. Every game a party.
Every game is a party, Cam.
You like parties, Charles?
Yes.
What kind of parties do you like, Charles?
What kind of parties do I like? I don't know if I should answer that. No, what kind of parties do I like? With my family. Let's just go that way. Let's go that route.
All right, that's very wholesome. Very wholesome. Such a family man, Charles. 2nd and goal as Patak drops the throw. That's caught by Solomon down to the 3-yard line. 3rd and goal, and now they're going to go no huddle. It's actually marked at about the 1.5. Minnesota looks lined up offside. They get back on side just in time, and Patak gets sacked. Back of the 8-yard line, 4th and goal.
Wow.
Taken down by Mark Mello.
Oh, I was hoping on that last play, the way he's been playing all night, that we were going to see a Solomon touchdown there going into the end zone with that one-handed catch. But, man, the defense, it looks like they got a kick in their pants, and now they're starting to be a little bit more forceful out there.
$2 super chat from Portia. Love this. I'm laughing so hard, y'all. That's good to know. Patak, he threw it out of the back of the end zone. He was looking for Caleb Giffis, and it's a turnover on downs for Chicago with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, well, Minnesota, they kind of were beaten up downfield, but they dug in deep right when they needed to, and now they've got a chance to run this to the end of the wire.
Hand off to Hart. Hart's updated figures. Wow, look at him just churning out. Now he's got the Chicago defense worn down, and that run is going to put him over 100 yards.
Yeah, what a solid game there by Hart. And every time I'm always amazed watching him run. I hate to keep gushing on that guy, but, man, he's been doing it for so many seasons, and it's great that he's getting into the Hall of Fame.
Minnesota's got wins this season against Carolina, Los Angeles, Miami, and Albuquerque. Only one of those teams with a winning record. They also lost to Detroit and D.C., who are ahead of them in the East Division. They've got Pittsburgh, Houston, Arizona, and Lexington remaining. Charles, what do you make of this team? Where do you see them kind of stacking up in the East and otherwise?
There's still a long way to go, and man, I think a couple of these teams in this league are starting to kind of figure out. I mean, it took them a couple games to get their their mojo as far as building playbooks, and each game's going to get tougher and tougher down the to the end of the line here.
Just a reminder on how the playoffs work. The top team in each division is guaranteed a top 4 seed. The second team in the second place team in each division is guaranteed a first round bye, and then seeds 7 through 10 are wild cards. Colin Hart is going to hit incentive money on that long run for the first down.
That was a big run. That was fire up the bus, or it's time to go home.
Once they stacked up that momentum, Charles. 1 yard over an incentive. Pull him right now. Make sure he doesn't take a TFL. But once Minnesota's momentum just started to run downhill, Chicago they just couldn't find it. Just couldn't get it back.
Yeah, the defense for Chicago is, they're on E right now. Been asked to do a lot against this tough Minnesota offense.
$4.99 super chat from Robert Henson. Stop spending my money, Portia. Booth and chat. Thanks for a great night. Okay, now that's confusing to me, Charles. So she's spending his money, but then he spends more money than she spends, but she's the one that gets scolded? That's outrageous, right?
Well, you got to look at the bright side that they have money to spend.
That's true. I think they have more, to be honest with you, Charles. Don't you think?
Definitely. And if you did your Meerkat channel, you would be making money hand over fist.
Oh, yeah. It's looking like a better and better idea every day. That's a loss of a yard and a timeout for Chicago.
And then instead of SFL conventions, you'd be going to furry conventions.
Okay. Now we have a super chat war between two people in the same house. A $9.99 super chat from Portia. It's my money, though. See, this is what I do. I bring couples together.
Yep, you do. You have a way with them.
I have a way with seemingly bringing happy people together, Charles. It's a beautiful thing.
That's right. That's another option for you. You could be a couple counselor.
Yeah. I think it's my second calling, Charles. It's either the Meerkat website, this, or couples counseling. Yeah. Which one am I most built for? Colin Hart gets the carry. It's 4th and 10. Chicago's going to get the ball back.
Man, what a game. Lots of laughs tonight, Cam, but on top of this has been a very good game. I mean, Minnesota, they kind of put their foot on the gas pedal here in the second half, but it started off just, back and forth, and Minnesota was able to, settle in and take control of this game. But Chicago's shown what kind of talent they have, but they need to go back and tweak some things. But I don't think it'll be long before you got a couple more W's in the book.
Mark Lopez with a $20 super chat saying, Cam, I'm still waiting for my money. I'm still waiting for my stuff. Come on.
So he pays you money to ask about his money.
That's what I'm saying. It's so confusing. Mark, I'll make sure to send an extra 20 your way for that super chat. How about that when we finish the job? It's that pass is incomplete. Stephen Black, $5 super chat. I'm just here to play football. LOL. Thanks for the laughs, y'all. Go Legend. And it really, Chicago's going to fall to 1-6, Charles. It's been a tough season for them, but it's really a reminder. Tonight is really a reminder that we can't all take ourselves too seriously, and life's full of fun, and that's what this channel's all about. That's what we try to keep it about anyway.
Definitely. And any questions about player development, just to Cam, Game Chat's the place for it.
No, not Game Chat. No, DMs. DMs. We'll have a meeting. We'll have a conversation. Solomon.
Oh, I misread that. Sorry.
Our stats truck is like, are y'all gonna pay attention? We're taking stats here. That pass is incomplete. Looking for Solomon again. Solomon's up to 155 yards on 10 grabs tonight.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, he put forth such a great game, great route running, and just catching in traffic. That one-handed catch, even though he didn't get into the end zone, that was just amazing. With 3 defenders around him, was able to bring it in.
Silver lining, that's Xavier Solomon's new career high, 155 receiving yards. So congrats to Solomon tonight on a spectacular game. 1:20 left. Still 30-10, though. Craven, send me those Meerkat name site suggestions to my inbox since you're contemplating it. We got a PI here on Minnesota. Nicholas Frossel, the culprit, and that's the first thing he's done wrong all night.
Yeah, they did a crossing route, and he had to make a quick adjustment. I think maybe put a little bit too much into the acceleration and just ran into the receiver.
DJ asking if we can switch back to bronze, silver, and gold tiers. No! You and Doug need to go have your own party with that one. 1:17 to go in the fourth quarter. Patak is up to 19 to 37 for 272. That is caught to the 36-yard line. That's Giffords. No timeouts remaining for Chicago. Play fake. Patak firing. Caught. Giffords again down to the 19-yard line. Chicago hoping to end the night with a score.
Rare play action pass.
Patak's pass is incomplete. That one almost taken away. That's Chris Stash, who set the tone earlier tonight.
Yeah, he's had a phenomenal game as well. I mean, we talked a lot about Bravo, but man, Stash has executed perfectly.
Got 75 people watching right now, and if you stayed for a while, all the super chats, y'all have been so great. How about 31 through 35, all bonus numbers here tonight for all of y'all's support of the channel and the SFL all these years. It's very appreciated to have our SFL family rocking with us tonight, as that one's incomplete into the end zone.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. He had him too.
Yeah.
I mean, Tarantino was just, whew.
It's a little bit overthrown.
Just a skosh.
Lodius Manning in the chat. Jay Stahl, $2 super chat. Enjoyed the game. Appreciate you. And more wins for Chicago in the future. Stephen Black with a $2 super chat. Money to talk about money, doing jokes about money. During jokes about money. Is that a Seinfeld thing? Sounded like a Seinfeld thing.
That's a song he's working on.
3rd and 10. Patak's pass caught. It'll be 4th and 2 coming up. Giffords with another grab.
I want to get some points on the board there for Chicago. And the way they've just been putting it out on the field tonight. I know they're going to be exhausted getting back into the locker room, but man, I think they need to walk away with at least a small victory here.
But no, they will not. 4th and 2. That one knocked away by Derek Meerkat. Meow for the first down, Minnesota.
We're out of control, Cam.
All right,
you don't
chat.
get in trouble for doing that. I do.
Chat, whose meow was sexier, mine or Charles? Let's get somebody get a poll up, please. One of our mods.
Why you even ask that?
Well, I don't know. I'm curious. I want to,
Wow, the noive.
There's 24 seconds left. It's not too much more can go wrong in 24 seconds, right?
Growl sexy.
Cam Purvine, says Brookie. That's
nice.
Good. That's good. I like that.
Very well
I like
done.
that. We're gonna stick with that. Yeah? No. All right. Well, that's a wrap. 30 to 10. 30 to 10. Minnesota gets the win. Charles, Minnesota started off slow, but they were the overall better team tonight, and they come away with a win and improved to 5-3.
Yeah, I mean, I think so many great plays on defense and offense. Got to tip your cap to Reno. I mean, it started out very slow, relying on that run game. Colin Hart kept them in it. Man, late in the first half, and especially in the second half, Reno just exploded. I mean, the way he started, if you would have told me he would have had a 76% completion percentage and 128 QBR, I'd say you were smoking something, because he came out on fire in the second half. And between him and Hart and that crazy aggressive defense, man, I don't know who to give the ball to. I wish I could give it to all of them, but I'm going to give it to Reno, because he flipped the switch when he needed to, and just put the offense on his back going forward after Hart kept it alive. A couple big plays, like I said, by Hart, but man, Reno, I don't think he'd be here if he hadn't have found his groove.
I didn't want to forget about Robert Henson, 1999 super chat. Cam gets enough of our money. We're trying to save for Denver. Robert, just wait until I drop SFL merch. Team Purvine, I think, might be in there. I don't know. What do you want to see in there, Charles?
I want to see a picture of Cam in a Meerkat outfit.
Okay. You know what? I bet Mickey Malillo can make something like that happen. We'll find out in Denver.
Well, somebody can make a graphic of that.
Somebody. Hey, you never know what goes on. What happens at convention mostly stays at convention. 30 to 10. Minnesota gets the win over Chicago. Give a player of the game, Charles.
Reno. Thank you for listening to me.
Oh, sorry. Did you already say that? I would.
You were thinking about your Meerkat outfit.
I was.
Is my purr sexy?
We're all hot and bothered here. Minnesota beats Chicago 30-10. Coming up next, it's Monday prime time in the UFL, Austin and Los Angeles. Good night, everybody.